Hey, good afternoon. Mark Quicklook here. I'm the Technical Practice Manager here at Planet Technologies, and I'm focused on the application platform in Azure. So that covers anything in development, DevOps, and the data stack. And I'm bringing you, my listeners, another technical update. It's actually a really exciting week, right? Because build is just ahead. And I wanted to try to get this done before build starts so that we could come back around. Next month I want to do a special feature just on all of the build things. I'll talk maybe to some of the developers here and see if I can get some of them to join me too. But for now, let's just focus on a bit short of a video. We're going to cover some things about DevOps and some new announcements from Microsoft this week that were super exciting. So thank you for joining me again. Okay, real quick on the update front. It was kind of a quiet month, actually, with regards to DevOps. Last month, we talked about the pipeline activities that would be available from Slack, and they've actually added some capabilities to that. You can now approve pipeline deployments directly from Slack without going into the portal. Updated pipeline approval experience is also now available in Microsoft Teams as well, so you can see all of the activities going through your pipeline. You can do the approvals without having to go back into Azure DevOps. It's pretty cool. There were updates to the pipelines as well to bring a number of source pipeline sources to the new experience. So you can add GitHub, Azure repos, Bitbucket Cloud, source repos, all using a modern experience and all using the same experience. Microsoft has also been slowly rolling out richer Azure AD capabilities to DevOps. Now, one welcome change in the past month, over the last two sprints, was adding the ability to query work items directly based on AD group membership. So now you can assign work items to a group of individuals backed by AD, and then you can query those work items based to see how the group's doing on their work items. On the repos front, Microsoft added support for two of the most requested features from the developer community: fast-forward merging and semi-linear merging from pull requests. So these were pretty popular from the Get community. There's various cases where these merge types make sense over the default merge capabilities, and so now you have the ability to make the choice of what works best for you. Because of the change, Microsoft is allowing you to control which merge types are permitted within the project settings. Probably one of the biggest changes for stakeholders are the new reports and the general availability of analytics capabilities. So there has been some dashboarding and reporting capabilities. They've been somewhat limited. You can also use the APIs or the commands through Azure PowerShell to pull data from Azure DevOps. But this is a new capability that just allows you to see failure reports for tests, for pipelines, pipeline duration reports, so you can see how successful and how long your pipelines have been running. And there's some new analytics dashboards showcasing everything from burn downs to test results. For GitHub users, the big news is the addition of a new app in the GitHub marketplace that makes the onboarding of Azure boards even easier. So you can go into GitHub, download the app, and connect your GitHub environment directly to DevOps. One of the things that comes up pretty often as we're talking with customers is what is Secure DevOps? I wanted to just talk briefly about it this month. I think we could get into it definitely in more detail as we move forward. But it came up a couple of times this week, and so I just wanted to highlight it quickly in this video as we're talking about Azure DevOps. And Secure DevOps is not necessarily unique to Azure DevOps. It's actually somewhat tooling agnostic, but the idea is that by implementing Secure DevOps, you are adding more robust security controls and processes into your organization at every step of the process. And some of the questions we ask ourselves are, what is the role of the security team during the SDLC? What software composition analysis tools are available? What training is being provided to developers to ensure that they're up to date on the latest security controls? And what gates exist for software as it enters the continuous delivery phase? SecDevOps is all about evaluating, again, what these tools are, what the processes are. And at Planet, we cover everything from how secure metrics are defined to how DevOps is configured in your environment, and then we look at some of the tools as well. And so on that note, I wanted to just briefly cover that Microsoft offers a Secure DevOps toolkit if you haven't had a chance to check it out. It is a toolkit that is available for you to grab and download. There's no cost for it. However, it does use Azure consumption, so you have to be thoughtful about what services you want to implement. It does monitoring and alerts, and it uses log analytics to do that. And it has a provided security kit control events around development, your CI/CD build pipelines, and your continuous assurance. And so when I say continuous assurance, I'm talking about baseline configurations that your DevOps and your development environments where you're deploying the code to is set to, and ensuring that there's no drift along the way. The Secure DevOps Toolkit also has PowerShell commandlets that do security checks, verification tests against common threats in a variety of services, and around your Azure RBAC configuration. It has documentation and guidance for how you want to take those tests and implement them as a part of your continuous integration and continuous deployment to make sure that you're getting secure builds and you're getting secure deployments as well. The toolkit also has custom ARM templates for your secure service implementation. So using it, you can ensure that you have resource templates that can be put directly into your deployment process, and developers can implement new environments that are automatically secure. And it has in-cluster testing for your data services as well for things like HD Insights and Databricks. There's also a security scanner that's part of the service that checks for your baseline security configuration for DevOps. And in addition to the comprehensive toolkit, Microsoft also has a code analysis tool that's in public preview. It's worth mentioning. And both the links are in here. So depending on how much of that you want to implement, because you don't have to implement the whole thing, you can decide, hey, I'm really just interested in doing some custom app services. I just want to see what Microsoft's saying is the standard that we should be using. You can grab that down, take a look at it without ever having to implement the rest of the pieces. But it is all there. It's all available for you to do as you wish. All right, so let's talk quickly about some AI announcements. There were a lot of things that came out this week. I did put it on my LinkedIn as well, but Microsoft is going to talk a bit more on this at Build, and there was a lot of things, so I don't want to go into them in full detail here, but there was a new cognitive services category called Decisions. And inside of it, there are 3 services, one which was recently announced and another is brand new. And since I have to kind of pick, 1 or 2 here to highlight and focus on, I'm going to choose the brand new one. The personalizer service is the new cloud service that's available. Xbox has been using it for a while, but it's a cloud service that uses machine learning models to discover and rank, and then facilitates the presentation of personalized content to users. So, for example, you can detect users' pages, and try to make suggestions to them on what pages they might be interested in, and what other types of content, videos, or other types of audio that may, say, hey, I think this might be of interest to you based on your existing browsing experience. What do you think? And it will retrain the models as you go along to try to figure out which is the best way to go. You can use it to optimize your advertising experience, to try to personalize ads specifically for users. You can integrate it with your bots to facilitate sort of more personalized conversation. And because it uses the machine learning, the agent, again, is continuously relearning those behaviors to provide the best outcome without you having to write your own machine learning capabilities into the product or other types of code. Because the service is in preview, it has preview pricing, and I'm going to be putting together hopefully a blog article here very soon. It sort of walks you through the setup and the configuration. But Microsoft does have some content out there. One of the other new APIs that caught my attention was the Ink Recognizer, which gathers insights from your handwritten notes. So Microsoft promotes it as the following: digital handwriting, so anything you write down, common shapes like parallelograms, or circles, or squares, rectangles, triangles, that type of thing, and the layout of inked documents. So it can actually detect, how you have content in your documents and then convert that to, text that would be typed instead, and actual computer-generated shapes and layouts. It's pretty cool. The service facilitates the conversion of your document data through JSON, including the character vector data. So it takes all of that information and then it sends it to the Cognitive Services API for recognition. It will work with UWP, WPF, and the web, so you can get consistency across those platforms. I haven't had a chance to play with it yet. It's brand new stuff. And they also announced as a part of that the computer vision API capabilities around image recognition, text in image recognition, and OCR as well. So these things are kind of meant to be paired with each other, and you can now create these documents that can have text anywhere and be able to be extracted. But if I had to pick out one of my favorite services that was announced, it's really related to this, it would have to be the form recognizer. So imagine the scenario. You have a receipt, or you have invoices. Maybe you have thousands of them, right? And the content is stored in, it could be handwritten, again, like the previous example, or it could actually be a printed out value. And you want to be able to take the data that's in there and have the computer automatically recognize that it's a form, extract out all the key value pairs, and put them into some meaningful content that you can do further analysis on. That's exactly what this new form recognizer service does. I think it's really, really interesting as we send out lots of invoices, and we get lots of invoices. We're trying to like take that information. If we get electronically, we may be OCRing them, and that's great. But now you're OCRing it, and you can take that data and put it into a database and start tabulating it all, which would save you potentially tons of time of keying that people might be doing today. And there are other products out there that do similar things, but this is Microsoft-based product that you can wrap right into your application. So it's pretty cool. Finally, Microsoft did announce that it was bringing more and more container support to cognitive services, including anomaly detector, speech-to-text, and text-to-speech. And keep in mind, these are all consumption-based services, so you're paying for what you use. They all have different prices per impression, but a lot of these are using preview pricing today. So take a look at the link that's in the PowerPoint here. There were a lot of other interesting things that were kind of mentioned as a part of this, and I had to focus again on a few. But we're going to be keeping our eyes on this as well as build commences this week and just kind of see where things go. It's an exciting time to be a developer. I really appreciate your time and attention today. Thank you and have a great week.